सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. Can someone recollect anything that we saw? We form the link and move ahead. Yes, please. Yes, anybody? And again, I request all participants, those who can turn on the video feeds, please do turn on the video feeds. It's much easier to interact. Yes, please. Okay, I think Anita ji raised her hand first. That is the advantage of video feeds on. So you can raise hands and I can quickly see. Yes, first Anita ji, then Nidhi ji, and maybe Shubha ji after that, if you are interested. Yes, please. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ji.
I just recollect about the soul passing through as a journey and why we need to grieve it because it's going to come again and again. And I think that line you mentioned, this too shall pass. So
Yeah,
that is what I recollect. And I remember the example of the ripe cucumber, which you said for moksha. Like
yeah.
it just
The
falls off.
Mrutyunjay mantra.
Yes. So that's all that I
Okay.
remember, sir.
Yes, yes. Already. Thank you, Ji. Just to add a little bit on what Anita ji shared. So, Krishna has introduced the concept of a, can say, Avinashi Atman, an Atman which cannot be destroyed. Body is going through changes. Childhood, youth, old age, cold, hot, happiness, sorrow. These are all experiences which the body is going through, getting transformed, and ultimately even death is coming to the body, but it is not coming to the Atman. The Atman also acquires another body, is said. How is it acquiring? What is the journey? Nothing has been told yet. But this concept has been introduced. That is one thing. Yes, Nidhi would like to add something to what Anita ji shared.
Secondly, that student or anyone can receive anything only when we have completely surrendered to the
Yeah,
opposite person and we are
yeah,
aspiring to gain that.
yeah.
And the Atma, what it, we are supposed to like face the good and the bad times in the same situation
Twice.
in a balance
Yeah.
and not be exhilarated by goodness or be too affected by the sorrow.
Yes, yes. That is another two very important points. So the first one was about Arjuna's surrender to Krishna. So he is now receiving something. Earlier he received nothing, isn't it? Krishna was silent. And it is said you can learn even from a complete fool. But if you are sincere and want to learn, the fool may not be knowing that the fool is the teacher, but a student can always learn from anywhere and any place. So here Arjuna is ready and he is now, he has said this, he has said, Shishyasteham Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam. So Krishna is ready to start the pravachan of the Gita for him. How much does he really consider himself as a Shishya and how much he considers Krishna as a Guru? It might become clear, or he may consider him as a Guru, but has he really imbibed the Shishyatva inside of him? That is something we will see as the Gita proceeds. We are free to, this is a informal session, so we can comment on Arjuna without worrying any of Arjuna's descendants to be upset or anything, because we're just trying to understand from our everyday point of view. So this was one important thing that we saw. And the second is Krishna gave the simplest way of realization or liberation. Who is the liberated one? That liberated one who is going to be balanced. He's a dhira. He's called a dhira. Dhira in the sense we can say this word is used dhir, gambhir. These different names are given for people who are deep, who have understood some of the principles of life. So they are balanced. Balanced at what times? Sad times, well, you can be balanced because otherwise you will get destroyed by the bad times. But even happy times, if you can remain that balanced, such people are worthy of getting the highest realization, is what Krishna said. So that is where we saw. Anything else anybody would like to add to what Nidhi and Anita ji shared, or we'll just move ahead? Yes? All right. Yeah. If nobody wishes to add anything, let's continue. So we saw that self is neither the killer nor the killed. Self does not because it's not going through death at all. It is not participating in killing, or is it getting killed? So, what is it that is getting killed? That is an important question. Krishna has not yet touched it. So, we'll just keep that in abeyance. We'll see what is Krishna going to tell further. But now he has introduced the concept of self, and we don't even know if Arjuna agrees that there is an Atman or not. And we also see Krishna is not forcing anything. He's not saying, will you listen to this shloka or repeat this shloka 5,000 times, you will get moksha, otherwise, I'll cut your head with Sudarshan Chakra. Krishna is not giving conditions. He is right now just introducing concepts. Take it or leave it is for Arjuna to decide. So let us see what Arjuna takes from these words. Do you know just one thing before we begin? That even after the entire Gita was over, Arjuna felt he has not understood the Gita properly and wanted to hear the Gita again. Does anybody know that? In the after the Mahabharata, so many things happen. Yes, Rekhaji, do you know that? Okay, I thought somebody unmuted.
No,
Yes, when he asks Krishna to
no,
say
no.
again, Krishna again summarizes, but it is not the Bhagavad Gita. It is another version of the Gita, which is much smaller. It's called Anugita. And Krishna also says, Yoga Yukto. I was in that lie of yoga, so I told it to you. And Arjuna, you were different that time. So you got this version. And that is how Krishna has been giving so many versions of the
Oh,
Gita. Yama has given Yama
mm,
Gita to Nachiketa.
interesting.
Somebody says it's just Krishna. Absolutely. So let's continue. 21st one we go on. Veda vinashinam nityam ya enam majamavyayam katham sa purushah partha kam ghatayati hantikam. The knowledge of the self that is ageless is that it is true, indestructible and birthless. So again, who is the man who is the killer? And who is the man who is killed? Let's just look at it once more and then we'll probably understand what is the purpose of this shloka. The knowledge of the self that is ageless is that. Pallaviji has a question. I'll just come to you. One moment. The knowledge of the self that is ageless is that it is true, indestructible, and birthless. So, again, who is the man who is the killer? And who is the man who is killed? So, when the Atman is not going to die at all, when the Atman is eternal, where is the question of killer and where is the question of killed? Before we just go to Pallaviji's question, like, why is Krishna talking about this killing, and was this something Arjuna was very worried about?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Kulakshaya, Guru Hatya, Mitra Droha, all he was just obsessed with that only, and he got lost his what is his Kshatriya dharma also because he's emotionally attached. Ki I'm going to be killer, I'm going to kill. Very recently, I had an opportunity to talk to somebody. I can't name him because he wants to be anonymous, but he has killed 42 people.
Oh God.
But it is not murder because he's done it for the nation.
Soldier.
However, yeah, he's a soldier. He's a soldier, absolutely. For the nation, he has done that. They all have this counts. They say, I have 42 kills to my name. I know people who have so many more.
Special
Now, one would
forces.
say, yes, yes, from the armed forces, absolutely. Now, somebody would say it's normal. But even here, the same questions like Arjuna's questions come. He said he had difficulty for even for 2 years because one terrorist he had to befriend and he had to stay in a camp with the terrorist to get intel out of him. So the simplest way to get intel was to become friends. So if this person spent so many days talking, walking, eating, sitting normally, and then he had given the instant given, after receiving the intel, he was supposed to slay that terrorist. And that person was very, very disturbed. It took a lot of time to come to terms with it. So here Arjuna is also right now forgetting his duty. Right now he's too emotional, and in his emotions he is thinking, what is it am I doing? This is murder, this is that. So Krishna is countering that. Yes, Pallaviji, what was your question? If you were asking something, your hand you had raised digitally. Yes, please. Was there a question?
No, I wanted to ask which shloka are we in?
We are now on the 21st
Second.
shloka of the second adhyay.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you. Mm.
thank you. All right. So,
Page 44, it's easier that way.
yeah, but I don't know if everybody has the book. So, yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, all right. So, so this is the Atman is eternal. Krishna is telling Arjuna. So forget this obsession of people being killed or not. It is right now your duty. You try to look at it, is what Krishna is telling. But we don't know. Let's continue. वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णान् अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. I repeat, this shloka is a very beautiful shloka. It allows a person to come to terms with a very difficult aspect of death. But coming to terms with death is only the first step for evolution in, psychological, mental, and spiritual also. So understanding that this is a part of life. Let us see. Vasasi jirnani yatha vihaya navani granhati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnan anyani sanyati navani dehi. Just like old garments are discarded when shoddy, and thus for newer clothes they make way, the old physical bodies too are cast away by the self, which then acquires a new body. Sounds cruel. It sounds very difficult to digest, but let us look at it again. Just like old garments are discarded when shoddy, and thus for newer clothes they make way, the old physical bodies too are cast away by the self, which then acquires a new body. This is a principle of life. This is a principle of life. This, like where there is life, there is also death, isn't it? And what happens to, like, now just we go to a mall, we buy clothes or not. So we choose our clothes, isn't it? We choose which clothes we like. All of us are wearing different colored clothes because of our taste. But the question is, do we wear the same set of clothes every day? No. What do we do when our clothes get old? We throw them, isn't it? We discard them. We discard them. Does that make us heartless? Does that make us ruthless? No, isn't it? Okay, what if we don't want to discard them? Anybody? Say, I don't want to discard the clothes I'm wearing. What can I do? Yes, Nidhi. Yes, please.
We will be wearing the torn or the
It'll get
distressed.
torn, isn't until it is absolutely unwearable, isn't it?
Yeah, we are going to wear it.
I remember when I was very little, my favorite dress was a dress having lots of insects pictures on it. My mother was disgusted by that, but wherever I went, I would wear it. Friend's birthday also, I'm wearing the same thing. Another place also, I'm wearing the same thing. She was just waiting for me to grow out of it, but for some reason, it was fitting me well, and I was not willing to leave it. It went on and on. This saga went on for some time till finally she tore it. So I don't wear it again. Because that is the thing of life, no, isn't it? Wear and tear happens. Wear and tear happens. Same is the case with the body. And also just imagine if each of us got 5,000 years of life.
Yeah.
So yes, Tejaswini ji, you said something?
My goodness.
My goodness, isn't it? I mean, just if we got 5,000 years of life, we'll be like, oh my God. Or if we alone get it also, if not everybody, it's not a samuhik immortality mela, maybe one person alone gets it. The entire world would have gone ahead and this person will not understand what to do. So this aspect is something which we must recognize. It is just a journey. It's a part of life. Just like how clothes are thrown away after they are old or worn out, Krishna gives a beautiful metaphor for us to understand this aspect of soul acquiring a new body. Just like that, when the time is up, the soul chooses another. This journey is complete. That is how Krishna has introduced. Again, Krishna gives some more information about the soul. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. That which no weapon can decapitate, that which no inferno can incinerate, that which even the waters can wet not, and which the mighty winds can dry not. So that which no weapon can decapitate, that which no inferno can incinerate, that which even the waters can wet not, and which the mighty winds can dry not. What is that? That is the Atman, that is the self. Somebody says that is also the Brahman. What is this? This entity. Let's call it X for now. Let us just keep it like an algebraic equation. We will figure out and derive what it is later. But this special entity cannot be cut by any weapon. This cannot be burnt by the biggest infernos also. No matter what does a fire do, it burns everything to ashes. But it cannot touch this soul. Then even water, which is quite the opposite of fire, even water cannot wash it away, but it cannot even wet it. That is the power of that entity, and which the winds can also dry not, is what Krishna is introducing. Achedyoyam, adahyoyam, akledyo shoshya evacha, nityaha sarvagataha sthanur, achaloyam sanatanaha. This is Sanatan, the soul is Sanatan. Now, which Sanatan is going to get destroyed if Arjuna takes part in the battle? Arjuna is saying Sanatan will be destroyed if I take part. That is his emotions that are speaking. That's why a lot of people sometimes are very easily manipulated by their emotions, isn't it? Movements rise because people are vulnerable to emotions. People find out that one factor which emotionally connects with them and then they are utilized. That's what happened right now to our Arjuna. A sincere, able bodied, powerful, strong, moral, righteous individual, because of his emotions, got carried away. So now Krishna introduces this. He says, this self indestructible and incombustible is immutable, imperishable, and insoluble. In its inertial stillness, it is omnipresent, ageless and timeless. Everywhere it is present. So this X is, if you see, it is transcending but I mean this time also. Not only is it transcending space dimension, it is transcending the time dimension also. That is this. It is indestructible. It's incombustible. It's immutable. Means it cannot be mutated into something else. It will always remain perfect and pure. It's imperishable and insoluble. So, and it's omnipresent also. So that is omnipresent will also become omniscient by default, isn't it? If you look at logically. Yeah, that which is present everywhere will have at least the understanding. Consciousness is there and that consciousness is everywhere. That's all aware also. So it is something very interesting that Krishna is introducing. It is present everywhere. But how do we understand through our mind? That's the big question, no? If your friend
Yes.
asks, hey, what's up? Where are you? And I'm here also. I'm there also. I'm everywhere. What will you what will you react? You'll say, stop messing with me, go away. Because my logic understands. Are you here or you are there? You can't be everywhere. Like in college, we had gone to meet our class representative. He was like, I'm going to Madurai, and we could see him on the terrace. He's not in Madurai. Because that's our logic, isn't it? We can see, we can understand. So our indriyas allow us to uh, understand, at least by mind or by tarka or by anubhava. One of the ways it helps us to realize. But this entity, Krishna is saying, is transcending what is the logic of the mind also. The next shloka, he gives some more description of this. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushochitum arhasi. I repeat. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushochitum arhasi. He says, this invisible self by the mind cannot be conceived. About the blemishless self, thus is said and perceived. This knowledge of the self you must realize and see, indeed, how pointless it is for you to lament or grieve. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, by the mind alone it cannot be conceived. First question comes, where is the mind? Says you cannot understand by the mind. Okay, but first we need to know where the mind is, isn't it? Anybody?
Brain.
Okay, Tejaswini said brain. I had asked a similar question in a group where a lot of doctors and other people were there, and some scientists were also there, and everybody asked me to keep quiet because I was. They felt it was not a very serious discussion to have because I asked, is it because of the neurons? The neurologist said yes. The same way, are neurons only present in the brain? Anybody from the medical field? Or do we have a nervous system in the heart also? Anybody?
It is present all over the body.
Okay, yes, neurons are actually present in the brain also. Then they are in the heart also. There's a cardiac nervous system as well. So then I said, by that default, mind should be in the heart. And he says, whenever I feel good or bad, my heart space also changes because I feel mind is there. And somebody said it is debatable. Then again, I asked a similar question. I said, but when I'm very hungry, it feels like the heart is in my stomach. And there is a what we can say enteric nervous system in the stomach also, what we call gut feeling. It arises from there. And I was just told that this is not a discussion which we want to have. So then I kept quiet like a good participant in that group. But this question of the mind is there. Nobody is able to fully understand its presence. But again, what does the mind do? It processes the wherever the mind is, it's inside of us, maybe, no? Maybe it's inside of us. At least that much we can think that yes, we function, we think, isn't it? What my friend thinks, I don't really fully understand that, but what I think, I can at least understand that to some extent. So this is mind. But where does the input come from the mind? From the indriyas, isn't it? From our senses. What I see with my eyes, what I hear. Generally, we would say, general
All sensory
mental.
nerves. All
Yes, yes, from
sensory
the
nerves.
absolutely, Rekhaji, rightly said. From the senses.
Yes.
But again, our senses are limited, isn't it?
Yes.
I cannot sense everything. I have a limitation of touch. Beyond a particular temperature, everything is, I'm not be able to identify. If it's too cold, again, it's a problem. If it's too hot, also, it's a problem for me. I have limitations. Same as the taste. What about my eyes? Well, yes, an eagle can see so much better. My dog can smell better than what I can. So my limitations are already there in the senses, and my mind is operating on the basis of inputs received from the senses.
So
But
powerful is
my
the mind, na? So powerful is the mind that how much,
yes,
matlab, means what limitations mind is telling us. Ki no, you cannot go beyond that.
yes,
Beyond means too hot or too cold. You cannot go
that is
beyond that. Such a powerful mind is sensory nerves are. Ki they are telling us the correct thing.
they're telling us the correct thing what Rekhaji is saying, but they are giving us according to their syllabus only. No out of syllabus things are told by the mind, isn't it?
Yes,
But
yeah, that's
but the
true.
world of the mind is actually not the entire syllabus. Like we have what we call ultraviolet rays, infrared rays, ultrasonic, infrasonic.
Mm.
There are realms. We don't even know what is the fourth dimension. We know only the three dimensions, isn't it? If at all there
Yes.
is one. Or if there are higher dimensions, theoretical physicists talk about it. So, meaning what we just have to understand is where the mind is no doubt, as Rekhaji says, brilliant, great. It can grasp so many things. It can travel across the world. It doesn't need a visa also. Just freely, it can go everywhere. The great yogis had brilliantly trained minds. If you see, there was this Avadhana Kala where multiple points of concentration was possible. So,
Mm.
all of this is there. And yet, Krishna says mind is limited. This is something we must understand and keep it aside, but we can just understand that there is a limitation of mind. There are realms, probably realms of intuition. There are realms which are beyond the mind also, beyond the understanding, which man has to access. If man accesses that, or which if man evolves, then the man does not remain ordinary mortal. That man becomes something like a higher evolved man, or how we called rishis of the ancient times. They were slightly evolved. They were able to get different experiences which were beyond the mind, what we call extrasensory perception, intuition, clairvoyance. All these are different experiences. But as of now, for our study purpose, let's just see that Krishna has told that mind is limited. Whether it's limited by its own logic, we do not know. We just keep it aside. So because it is limited, you cannot understand the Atman just by the mind. Meaning you cannot write the definition of the Atman and start having a argument only on the Atman. It will go on for years, but that argument you might be very successful at arguing. But that argument will not actually mean that you have actually experienced it or understood it. So mind is not the only way of getting an anubhav. There is
You
something
have to
else.
accept that, na? You have to accept that the soul is eternal. That
Yes, but it does not
logic you
have to,
cannot.
because Sanatan Dharma does not force us. You can or
And
you
it,
cannot. You can or you
yes.
cannot, but Krishna introduces that, yeah, hey, there is an Atman.
Hmm.
And then he says, because there is an Atman which is eternal, which is
Hmm.
not going to die, which is perfect, which is pure, which can be understood when you transcend the mind, at least understand that there is something which is special, which is going to remain. So stop grieving every time or over every death. That is what
Hmm.
Krishna is telling.
Like a small child
Yes,
always
yes,
emotionally tell her mother
yes,
ki,
yes,
I don't
beta
want to go
ro
to school. I don't want to go to school.
Yes, 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 isn't it?
Emotionally. So mother will tell ki, no, stop telling all these things, nonsense. You
Yes,
have to
yes,
go.
exactly. Krishna is playing a mother's role at this moment for Arjuna.
Yes,
So that's for exactly what Rekha just shared. It's like, Nanu shochitam arhasi. It's not
mm,
right to cry.
yes.
Like we said, big boys don't cry, big girls don't cry, as parents tell to the child. Like that, Krishna is saying, see, there's an Atman which is eternal, so don't cry.
Mm,
Now comes the next shloka, which is very beautiful. Because that is why there's no compulsion that you must conform to what Krishna says, or he will curse you, or you will be in trouble. Because now he goes in the next shloka, he goes by the opposite. He says, okay, imagine you don't believe there's an Atman also. That is his next shloka. Let us see. Atha chainam nityajatam nityam va manyase mrutam tathapi tvam mahabaho naiva shochitum arhasi. If you think the self is subject to birth, or if you think that it is subject to death, either way, O mighty armed warrior, it is not right to grieve in this manner. So I repeat it once more. If you think the self is subject to death, or if you think it is subject to birth, either way, O mighty armed warrior, it is not right to grieve in this manner. So assume, let it be. Okay, if this Atman, you don't believe in this concept, you say that x is equal to 0 in your equation. No problem. So there was suddenly nothing, out of nothingness, something came, and then it's going to completely disappear. There's nothing, no future. But even if that is the case, that there is no Atman, Arjuna, there is no need for you to grieve the way you are grieving right now. Let's continue. He goes on further, but Krishna clarifies further. He says, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmadapi tasmadapi riharyarthe natvam shochitum arhasi. So again and again, Krishna is going to say the same thing. Natvam shochitum arhasi. Whatever it is, whether you are in the paksha of the Atman or you are in the paksha of the non-existence of the Atman. For you as a warrior in this desha, in this kala, in this paristiti, in this context, there is no, you have no what we can say locus standi to grieve here. There is no need to grieve. For he who has taken birth, death is certain. For he who has died, birth is certain. Death and birth is but an inevitable situation. It is not proper to bemoan on any occasion. So somebody is born. Who can die? Anyone? Who is capable of dying?
One who is born.
Exactly, isn't it? Only somebody who is born can die. And same way, somebody who has died will also have birth. That is what Krishna is talking. The Bhagavad Gita talks about this cycle, the karmic cycle of birth and death. He says it is there. Death or birth, this is but inevitable situation. It is not proper to bemoan on any occasion, irrespective of what you should not cry. I know some of my friends, they're crying, why do they have kids? Some of them are crying, why I don't have kids. But it's either ways, we have to not cry, is what Krishna is saying. We have to keep that. Sometimes it's really difficult to understand why things happen. But they can be controlled, emotions can be processed. Can we today still feel bad and cry that Arey Aurangzeb had such a big life, Chhatrapati Maharaj had such a short life? No, isn't it? We understand everything happened. Whatever happened to Chhatrapati Shivaji or Shambhaji or whatever happened in the cycle of things, it was a different journey. It was an evolution. Good things, bad things, all of this, birth, death, all of these are a part. So either ways, just getting upset and crying is not a right thing. My teacher had told one statement which I did not really understand, or actually I didn't fully agree with. So everybody who cries only cries for themselves. This was something I didn't really understand. I was like, okay, but sometimes they're genuinely crying for somebody else. That time I had heard of this Manache Shlok of Samartha Ramdas Swami, who is said to be the guru of Chhatrapati Shivaji. मरे एक त्याचा दुजा शोक वाहे अकस्मात तो ही पुढे जाता है. One person dies for him, another person cries. But the one who is crying also does not know that that person is also going closer towards death. But I still didn't somehow understand. And then I got a sad news that a friend's mother had passed away. So, but I remembered that line, "Ki everybody cries only for themselves, not for others." I was like, no, this is unselfishly my friend is crying is what I felt. I just kept it in my head. And when I went to meet him, it was in the evening. So all his guests were there. Guests went away and he wanted some company. So I was just sitting and talking to him. And suddenly, out of the blue, he asked me a question, will my mother haunt me? I was shocked. Here is a boy who is claiming to have so much love, and then he is now scared that he is going to be haunted. I said, what are you talking about? The one who has loved you all your life, you think from in the afterlife that person is going to come in. He's like, no, but I did not do this. She had told me to do that. This aspect was just a personal attachment, personal emotion taking control of the individual. That is why Krishna keeps saying, Na shochta manasi. Nothing really happens, isn't it, by crying? There's nothing that can be achieved by crying. Sometimes evacuation takes place, it's all right. Some people say it's good to cry, all that is fine. But there is something called nirpeksha ashru. The eyes that are selfless tears are different. Those tears are different. They are real evacuation. Everything else is just emotion. So here, another principle Krishna is saying, Na shochitum arhasi, no matter what the situation is, just remain balanced. It's not any of any use. He goes on further to explain Arjuna's question because if you recollect, Arjuna was quoting as if he has some extra sensory perception about Naraka, about Mrityulok, about the future of the world, everything. So Krishna quickly in the next shloka he asks a very simple question. He says, Avyakta dinim bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatraka paridevana. The beginning before birth is unknown. So the beginning before birth is unknown. The middle lifespan of birth alone is known. What happens after death is also unknown. Hence, O Arjuna, what causes you to mourn? I repeat, the beginning before birth is unknown. The middle lifespan of birth alone is known. What happens after death is also unknown. Hence, O Arjuna, what causes you to mourn? A simple question. You don't know everything. You know only one third, isn't it? How many of us know what happened before us, before our births? No one. We don't even know if there was a birth before it or not. What do we know? I know just say maybe after the age of say 3, 4, some memories are there in my head. Whatever I remember from my life experience up to this moment of now, isn't it? Even in this life, I don't know what's going to happen, say 20 minutes later, or 30 minutes later, or even 1 minute later, 1 moment later. I don't know. I know only as I experience. So this much portion of life only I know. And what is going to happen in the future is also completely unknown. Meaning in less than one third is what I know, isn't it? And yet, why am I claiming to have understood everything and then becoming emotional and crying? It's like sometimes we keep crying, I want transfer, I want transfer. You keep praying. We keep praying. Just mute Jyotsna ji. Yeah. So we'll keep praying for transfer. Hey Bhagwan, transfer dena, and then you some kind of sakam prarthana, people do yajnas, everything. And then that transfer comes. Then, hey Bhagwan, why did you give me this transfer? Because this place is because after going there you understand this is not something you wanted, so because you don't know a lot of factors, so Arjuna, just go back to the ground, control your emotions. You know very little, you don't know what was before, you don't know what is after, so don't say with certainty what's going to happen in the future. Remain. Sometimes it's very good to be in the present at least, so that you focus on your works rather than what's going to happen later. So let's continue. Krishna says, what causes you to mourn? And now comes the beautiful aspect, because everybody reacts differently to the truth of the Atman. This is the shloka Krishna says. It's so unique. Each person has a different reaction when they are introduced to the concept of the Atman. What are the classifications? All people fall in one of these categories when this truth of Atman is revealed. Why is Krishna saying this? Probably he has told about it to so many people. And he knows how one of these people fall in one of these categories. Krishna, he says, Ascharyavat pashyati kashyatenam ascharyavat vadati tathaiva chanya ascharyavat chain manyah shrunoti shrutvapenam vedana chaiva kaschit. So first one is, some people see the self as surreal, meaning they understand, they experience, they feel that yes, there is a self, there is an Atman, it is brilliant, it's wonderful, it is something, it's such a surreal thing is what the feeling they get. Somewhere in the heart, they feel very good and happy about it. Just because they can probably understand, like, yes, that explains everything. That's why the Atman is there. I understand it. Another group, some people call it surreal and acknowledge. They say, oh, my logic tells me that some stories cannot get over just like that. They are continuing. Or like now we see sometimes in reality TVs, isn't it? Children come and start singing in such ways, and puberty has not come, and they are singing a song about lovers so gone so far away and everything. How is it possible? Even the judges who have spent their entire life preparing, they kind of get surprised. They say, no, this is a Gandharva reborn, because they feel this is not possible that in this small lifespan this person could have gathered such skill. It looks like some kind of story. This is again an interpretation. Some people interpret about it. Some people call it surreal and acknowledge, yes, to my logic, I think there is something like the Atman. Then some others hear about the self as surreal. Then some people just hear, right. Okay, this person told me. Like we have what we call Shabda Brahmana, isn't it? When my mother tells me I'm your mom, I'll not say show me DNA certificate. I may get a thappad for asking, but that's not why I am not asking. It's because I know this. I've lived with this person, and this person is now a source of kind of praman. Again, it's not blind faith; it's an experience, isn't it? In certain, when we get it from people, it doesn't have to be so, like everybody has to be somebody's elder or something. Even your friend, you live with your friend, say you understand for 10 years, 8 years, 7 years, or you get an understanding. Time is not important. But when you understand, you can trust this. And yes, this person will not lie to me. Some teachers we have in our life, you ask a question, you'll get an answer. You know that this person is not going to lie. This is what we call a reliable source. So some people hear from reliable sources. They read their favorite guru's charitra, or they read some santvani whom they admire, that sant's words, and then they assume. I don't know if I have not experienced the presence of Atman. My logic does not allow me to go ahead to experience or even to interpret if there is an Atman or not. I'm not able to think about it. But you see, my Guru told me that there is Atman, so there is Atman. I don't have to question anymore. Or this source. So they hear from source, the Shruti. They hear it and then they acknowledge. Then there is another category also. After hearing too, after hearing of it too, some have no knowledge. Like it falls from this ear, goes out of the other ear. It is they are also inert like the Atman. When the concept of the Atman is given to them, it brings about no change in them at all. Because the way or the knowledge does not come to them. They don't experience it. So one of the four categories is how people react. Krishna goes on further. Before we continue, did Arjuna sign up for a philosophy class? Anybody? What is Krishna doing? Anyone? Yes. Atman. Suddenly Arjuna is getting such what we can say Tattva Bodha of the Atman. We are in our comfortable moments. I would not say all us, we all have our battles, but we are not in Arjuna's situation where somebody is going to fire an arrow. But at that time also, Krishna is saying this. What do we understand from this? Anybody? Any inference? Anything? Yes, Abhaji?
He can be one of the four categories. Arjuna could be one of the four categories.
Yeah.
He may feel.
Okay. Okay, Arjuna can be one of the four categories. Yes, but what do we understand from Krishna Arjuna Samvad on Atman in the middle of a battlefield before a battle taking place? And that to Krishna says nobody can understand the Atman, and yet he is trying to make Arjuna understand it. Nidhi Kalaji is saying something, then I'll come to Nidhi. Yes, yes, ji.
I thought it's just a pep talk, just like people have to go before a war, exams. You just give
Yeah,
a
pep
pep
talk
talk.
is all like, come on, you're so strong. You know, you can just destroy Bhima. I mean, Bhishma. You do this for Duryodhana. Do this for Drona. But here the pep talk is completely off tangent, isn't it?
It is, it is.
It is. Okay. So yes, Nidhi was adding something.
Yeah, maybe because he was like not willing to go for his duty as a kshatriya. So,
Okay. So he had to
so,
explain this.
so he is explaining that about the self, when the self can't die or it can't be cut or it can't be burnt or anything, then
Yeah.
why are you mourning about it? And why don't you just go ahead and do your duty? You're just basically
So
doing your
so
duty
Krishna is addressing Arjuna's insecurities and his own worries, which he was talking about. His
yeah,
fears. Krishna is
of
making
killing
him
his
understand that.
relatives
Yeah.
and everything. So he's
Okay.
just
That's a
punishing
valid
them.
point. Absolutely agreed. Agreed. Like yes, ji. Anita ji. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I felt Arjun is in the position where he's saying, "मेरा मन नहीं मान रहा है." So
Okay.
my mind. So I feel Krishna is saying, what are you talking? Tumhara man, you are limited by the man. Your
Yeah. So the world does not
understanding of
revolve
the man.
according to
Yeah.
your thinking, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So what you have is a minuscule in this whole universe. So I thought he's making a
Okay.
ground for that understanding.
All right, Anitaji. Yes, Mitaji, and then I'll come to Shobhaji. Yes, please.
I also feel that Arjuna is actually ready to understand it because he's so close to,
Krishna.
he's going to be killing people.
Okay.
So he's also very receptive to the concept of Atman at
Okay,
that
we will
moment.
keep this in abeyance because Arjuna is going to tell us how receptive he is in the coming shlokas. Maybe Arjuna is very receptive, but it's connected to him definitely. Yes, Shobhaji.
Yeah, I just feel that Arjuna is such a great warrior. He has fought so many wars, he's killed so
Yeah.
many people. So he is possibly not going to be pepped up by some normal talk. This is
Okay.
serious for him. So
Okay, so he
probably he
needs
has to
some deep, we can say,
stronger tonic.
strong dose. Right, right. All right.
There are,
Yes. Okay,
Sushruji,
Rachnaji. Yes, please.
um, like in the battlefield, this talk was given in the middle of a battlefield and not
Yeah.
in any Himalayan cave or in a mountain or something like that. It was
Seminar
not in an
hall.
ashram.
Yeah.
It is basically, it's like a metaphor for us to see that in everyday life, we are standing in the middle of a
Yeah.
battlefield. There are so many things that are happening around us, and
Yes.
how to stand in the middle of all that
And
and
still learn
just
and grow and try
understand
to
his
understand.
word and try to
Yes.
apply his word. That
Okay.
is the
Yeah, that's
important thing.
wonderful. Okay, Vaishnavi.
And
So,
one more thing is
yeah.
in the light of Sri Aurobindo, like Sri
Hmm.
Aurobindo says that the reason why we have been given any work, that why we should work, is because we need to understand focus, so and discipline. And so once the focus, and this is from that Letters of Yoga, so he says
Okay.
that once the focus and the discipline is you've learned that, then everything that is focused outside, now you turn it around and face it inside.
Okay.
So
Yes, Vaishnavi.
Arjuna has to, now he's learned everything. He's learned his art. He's learned his craft, and he knows how to do everything. And now he has
Okay.
to face inward, face all the
Right.
things, and know his own purpose. I think
Okay.
these
All
are the
right.
two things
Thank
I
you.
wanted.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. So this is one more interesting thing is you see the patience, isn't it? Krishna is patient enough to talk in length. Arjuna also is like, not like, hey, Bhagwan, when is this getting over? What's he going to tell me? He's actually quietly trying to imbibe with patience. And this is a mark of really a good learner, a good student who is able to understand that you can learn in every moment. If you know the story, anybody knows the story of Aristotle in his last moments? He was given, I think, if I remember in school, if I'm not mistaken, but it was he was going to be poisoned because he claimed something which was going against the understanding of the world.
Socrates,
And
maybe.
no, to Socrates, sorry, Socrates. This Jayji, sorry about that. So Socrates. So Jayji, would you like to share something about Socrates? What was his last moment?
No, no, I'm
No.
good.
Okay, fine, sir. So Socrates was going to be poisoned, and somebody said, "I wanted to come and meet Socrates." And Socrates has a wonderful conversation with that person as if there is nothing wrong. He is going to die the very next day, and that too is going to be unjustly killed. Yet he has that poise to understand. And so the guard went and asked him, "What were you talking? Your life is going to get over. What were you talking?" He said, "No, maybe I could have learned something from him. If he wanted, he was offering me something which was interesting. I would like to know about it." If you see that this aspect is brilliant, if you see here, even Arjuna and Krishna, they are not getting pressured by the circumstance. Maybe Arjuna has got pressured, but he has not lost the patience and is willing to learn. That means we also should always have that attitude. Dr. Abdul Kalam talked about carrying a student's attitude all through life. There's no harm in being a student. There's no harm in learning. It's up to us how much we can grasp. Let's continue. So we go to the 30th shloka. Dehi nityamamadhyayam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shochitum arhasi. Seated within the bodies of every being physical. O Arjuna, the self is invincible and eternal. And thus, for the sake of every individual being, it is improper and incorrect for you to be grieving. I repeat, seated within the bodies of every being physical. O Arjuna, the self is invincible and eternal, and thus, for the sake of every individual being, it is improper and incorrect for you to be grieving. So, this Atman is present inside whom? Krishna is saying it's inside everybody. In the insan also, in the hevan also, in the Bhagwan also, everywhere inside every living being, this Atman, this self is present. It's invincible, it is eternal. And so it's not right, Arjuna, for you to be crying for every single person. Now comes the interesting part. स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष्य न विकम्पितुम् अर्हसि धर्म्याद्धि युद्धात् श्रेयोन्यत् क्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते. This is not the way of the Kshatriya, is what Krishna is reminding him. Swadharmam api chavekshya na vikampitum arhasi dharmyadhi Yuddhat Shreyonyat Kshatriyasya na vidyate. Your dharma, your dharma, your moral duty, you must consider. And from it, you most definitely mustn't falter. For the warriors who, to uphold the truth, fight, nothing is most appropriate but to defend the right. So you must consider your duty, your dharma. What is your dharma? What is your swadharma? That's a very interesting aspect. We will see later what swadharma is. A dharma towards yourself. That should not be forgotten. You must not falter from it. For warriors who are upholding the truth, those warriors who are upholding the truth and fighting for it, nothing is most appropriate but to defend the right. Nothing is more appropriate than defending the duty of the Kshatriya. Like I talked about a person who I said had destroyed so many people, it killed so many people. My wife also had a chance to meet her, so I just met him. So when I asked her if, because that person is related to me, I just asked her, do you think he would have spared me if I was declared enemy of the state? Because he knows me. She just did not take a moment's hesitation. She said, no, he would not have spared you also. Because that is the duty of a warrior. A warrior does not see family or anything, isn't it? A doctor who is operating on the patients. The person on the other side is a patient. By normal protocol, a doctor does not operate on no family member only. Because there's a greatest risk of what we can say, some emotions coming in between and then affecting. But that is the duty, isn't it? You have to uphold your duty without getting carried away by emotions. That is what Krishna is telling. And you, Arjuna, as a warrior, there is no place for all of this right now. Let's go on. Krishna goes on. Yadruchaya chopapannam swargadvaram apavritam sukhinah kshatriyaha partha labhante yuddhamidrusham. I just repeat. Yadrachaya chopapannam swargadaram apavritam sukhina kshatriyaha partha labhante yuddhamidrusham. When such a bellicose moment abruptly presents, of its own accord, it opens the doors of heaven. The warrior, O Arjuna, only joyfully consents, for they consider this chance sacred and God given. So when this moment, such a moment comes where you have to risk your life for upholding the Swadharma, Krishna tells Hare Arjuna, this is the chance that every Kshatriya aspires for. He doesn't run away from this, he says. When such a bellicose moment abruptly presents of its own accord, it opens the doors of heaven. The warrior, O Arjuna, only joyfully consents, for they consider this chance sacred and God given. Again, best example for this would be our armed forces only, isn't it? They don't look at what is my life I have to live ahead, what's going to happen. They understand this person is a danger. This person can cause problem to us, problem to my mother unit, my regiment, or my nation. If that person is now declared enemy, and I will run, whether there is one or there are 100. How many young soldiers have sacrificed their life? And they go in a rush without a single hesitation, not a moment's hesitation. Even if we get the nation does recognize them with awards, who receives the awards? They don't receive it, isn't it? The martyrs don't receive anything. Many times the families also are not taken care of, and this is well known. And yet they go ahead because that is the way of a Kshatriya. I fight for what I stand for. That is the way of the Kshatriya. Arjuna is being reminded of that by Krishna. There was a wonderful story of a mother who lost three children in a battle, one after the other. All three joined the forces and all three passed away. Then the general decided it's time I go and meet personally. I meet the mother. So he goes and tells then he sees that the mother is having tears. The general says, Mother, don't cry. You had three brave children. All three children were so brave and they sacrificed for the nation. These tears are not right. Instead, the mother gets angry and scolds him. I am not crying because I lost my third child. I'm crying because I don't have a fourth child to offer for the country. Because that mother is also a Kshatriya only here, isn't it? She understands this is not a loss when this is the way of a warrior. Krishna is reminding Arjuna. And look at Arjuna. He is absolutely opposite of Kshatriya because of the emotions that he has. But then Krishna goes on. Now he goes to a logic. First, he introduces what we call metaphysics. This is how Krishna operates. Suddenly, a metaphysical truth is revealed, and then it becomes very logical immediately. He uses Tarka also. He says, okay, you don't believe in Atman? Fine, don't believe. But still, this is not basic decorum at all. You don't have to cry like this. Get up. This is not the way. And then again, he introduces some other concept. See, Atman is like this, inside, deep, all it is eternal. And now again we see a beautiful logic, and he's actually addressing every point. It looked like Krishna was not responding to all the points raised by Arjuna in the first adhyaya, but Krishna was listening, and now he is responding when he feels it is a right time. Krishna is choosing to respond now to the other logics which Arjuna talked about. Arjuna, if you recollect, did he say he will get some glory if he ran away from the battle? Wasn't that the argument Arjuna gave in the first Adhyaya? I will retain some glory. Now Krishna is going to start puncturing all those arguments of his by saying, what glory? Let us see. 33rd shloka. अथ चेत्त्वम् इमं धर्म्यं सङ्ग्रामं न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हत्वा पापम् अवाप्स्यसि. So the papa he was talking about, so many papa I am going to incur. This sin this will be causing this is this sin, this is that sin. Well, Krishna tells him, but if you in this battle for justice do not participate, and from your duties you verily deviate, you will gain no fame for this sin of inaction, but instead bear the consequences of abstention. If you in this battle for justice do not participate, and from your duties you verily deviate, you will gain no fame for this sin of inaction, but instead bear the consequences of abstention. So, inaction is also a sin, isn't it? Turning a blind eye when you know something is wrong and then you decide to not look at it. Well, there are consequences of that. This is like just say now we are in our apartment system and one person is being unfairly targeted in that apartment system. Some injustice is taking place. Let's say whatever XYZ, whatever may be. Do you think it's right to look away? Hey, it's not happening in my flat, so let me ignore it. Yes or no? Why yes or why no? Anybody? I'm not involved. It didn't happen to me. So can I ignore it?
No, we can't because finally these decisions always affect us. We are in
Yes,
an
isn't it?
apartment.
Yes, yes. Anywhere injustice is happening, if you allow injustice to spread, what is going to happen? You will become a recipient of that injustice. It is just a matter of kala, isn't it? It is like that. You eat a banana and you throw it for somebody else to trip upon. You are doing a wrong action, and that wrong action will somehow come back because we are all connected, and so are our karmas. It's a very interesting flux of life. So that is what Krishna is reminding. He says, Acha, you think you're going to free yourself? No. Instead, you will be incurring another sin of abstention of duties, not upholding your duties when you had the chance to uphold. That is also an important aspect Krishna is trying to remind Arjuna. Let's go on further. 34th, and we'll just look at two more shlokas before our admin reminds me. Yes, 34th shloka. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathesyanti te avyayam Sambhavitasya chakirtir maranad atirichyate. And all the people shall speak for eternity of this ill action, harboring only disrespect. For those who by their deeds have earned respect, even death is far more glorious than notoriety. Krishna is saying, all people shall speak for eternity. You are worried about your name. You will become eternal, but you will not become famous. You will become notorious. That's what Krishna is telling him. And they'll speak about this with only disrespect. For those who by their deeds have earned respect, even death is far more glorious than notoriety. Somebody who is righteous, somebody who has worked hard to get a good name, such a person will always stay as far away from any activity that will spoil that good name which has been earned. Arjuna has earned a reputation by doing good deeds. He says, what will happen to that? What Parantapa? That name will disappear. What Mahabahu? Who is going to be Mahabahu? The one with the drooping shoulders? Not possible. The entire for history will be remembered, is what he is saying. And we must understand one more thing. Krishna is speaking this for the sake of Arjuna, keeping in mind Arjuna's perspective. Until Arjuna understands, he is not going to introduce him to the higher concept. And that's also a beautiful methodology of when we talk, try to speak in a language but the other person understands rather than speak only what you know. That's what Krishna is doing here. And now is a very interesting shloka which we'll stop at. 35th one. He says, Bhayad ranat uparatam mansyante tvam maharathaha yesham cha tvam bahumato bhutva yasyasi laghavam. And say, out of fear you have deserted the war. So of you the greatest of warriors shall think. They esteem that you have earned you'll scar from your stature and grace, you'll fall and sink. So I repeat once more. Out of fear you have deserted the war, so of you the greatest warriors shall think. They esteem that you have earned, you will scar from your stature and grace, you will fall and sink. People say you were afraid, so you ran away from the battle. Imagine what people will call you if you run away from the battle, is what Krishna is saying. Great warriors will think bad about you. This great esteem that you have earned, whatever name you have got, that your reputation will be tarnished, is what he says. Your stature also will be gone, whatever high stature you had. We stop here, but before that, does anybody know Krishna's name was also Ranchod?
Das. Ranchor Das.
What does that mean?
Someone who ran away from the battlefield.
Now look at this. The one who ran away from the battle. That is what Krishna's name is. And here in this sloka, I say, if you run away from this battle, Arjuna, look what is going to happen to your stature. Look what people will tell you. People will give you bad name. Like parents tell, no, shame, shame, this will be so bad, all of that. Now the question is, but what is this ground? How can Krishna say this when he himself has it? Is it hypocrisy? Or it's something else? Anybody? It's very interesting why Krishna is talking this way.
I feel it's something else because there was an ulterior motive in his
Yes, yes. There
running
was
in that
something
battlefield.
higher. There was a higher. But right now, Arjuna is not yet ready for receiving the higher wisdom. Krishna never cared about his reputation, isn't it? What emperor? He is driver for Arjuna. What a name he's getting by becoming Sarathi, isn't it? He's never cared about reputation. He never cared about what people are thinking. But Arjuna is right now attached. So when you are speaking to somebody who is attached, you will not try to suddenly give high philosophy which is beyond the understanding. 18th Adhyay, Krishna is going to tell a beautiful shloka which will tell why sometimes there is something beyond your moral understandings also. But right now, at least since Arjuna is absolutely has lost his moral, he's trying to build him at least. Morally righteous also is fine. Get up. Arey, think of your name. Think what good name you want. That will get spoiled. So that is what Krishna operates on. He is right. He is not contradicting actually. If you look at it on a deeper, Krishna is not about literal meanings at all. If you see, study the Mahabharata. The principle behind it is important. So here, to a depressed Arjuna, to an awake, to a disturbed Arjuna, he is telling all of this. Elsewhere in the Gita also, he'll say, don't worry what people call you, whether you're getting praise or whether you're getting criticism. You have to do your duty. But right now, Arjuna is not yet ready for it, so he is introducing this. That is what we can understand. We should not just interpret this as, so I have to keep doing things for getting a name, or I should protect my stature and all of this. Is not the shloka. This context is this for Arjuna. At least for that sake, Arjuna, forget your depression. At least do what is morally right instead of getting lost in this tamasic or sorrowful state that you have. So I think with this, we will stop at shloka number 35. We continue tomorrow. Can someone just share some of the take-home points that you feel from today's session? Then we can conclude with Shanti Mantra. Yes, please. Anybody? Yes, Kalaji. Yes, please.
Now a
Priorities
little,
will be for the online who can see because it's easier, quicker to see that way. So again, at least for that reason, I'll request participants, please turn on the video feeds. Yes, Kalaji. Yes, please.
now I understand a little bit about why a formidable sense of duty is just pounded into us from the time we are.
Yeah, yeah, isn't it? Okay, right, Kalaji. Anybody would like to add further to what? Yes, Anita ji. Yes, please.
So for me, this whole session and all these verses were about mind.
Hmm.
We think we know our mind, but we don't even know where the mind is in our own body.
Yes,
So we think it's in the brain, it's in the stomach, in the heart. तो हम खुद का नहीं जानते, but we still have this feeling of gut feeling. But it comes from our limited understanding of all our sensory organs. So there is so much beyond the mind that we don't even know. So for me, all these verses were about the mind. I also feel Arjuna is such a highly qualified shishya to be
yeah,
able to understand all this, like otherwise someone like would have said, मुझे अभी का बोलो ये सब नहीं सुनना है.
yeah.
But
Time nahi hai.
he's understanding the purport of every single thing, which
Yes,
currently does seem like a sequence. मतलब ऐसा लगता है ये भी बोला, but there is such a sequence to it which comes only
yes,
after deep understanding of things. So
yes, yes, ji.
it's all about
So,
the mind
yes,
for me.
Anita ji. Thank you. This is one important point of the mind and also about the patience of Arjuna. Many followers of Krishna feel even today Krishna comes to teach them. What Arjuna received. It's not just Arjuna only, he had some special premium membership, so he's going to get Krishna's counsel. Many experiences. But problem is not that Krishna is available or not. The problem is are we available or not? Many times we say time nahi hai and we don't receive. So here Arjuna is patiently receiving, and this concept of transcending the mind is the principle of every Vedantic text. If that is why Gita is also called a Gitopanishad. Why reading Upanishads becomes easy after reading the Gita is because Gita gives us a direction of something which is still beyond the mind, which is beyond because it's like mind operates according to its own Boolean logic. It's a limited logic. Something beyond that, then only you can get access to the kingdom of Brahma Vidya. And that is why it is said that Upanishads cannot be understood by reading without initiation from a guru. And here, Gita, Krishna plays the role of Guru. If we study the Gita sincerely, maybe this kingdom of Brahma Vidya will not be far away. We might get our visas into this kingdom also through the Gita. So that was one thing about the mind that we saw. Anita ji has shared. Any other point, anything you wish to share? Anyone else? We'll look at that and we conclude today's session. Yes, anybody? Yes, anyone? Okay, Meeta
The
ji.
four
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
kinds
ji.
of people when you give them the gyan. So that was also very interesting.
Ashcharyavat. Yes, yes. Ashcharyavat Pashyati. Some just say and realize, yes, so right, I understand. That's why it's the journey of the soul. I recognize the existence of the soul just by probably by realization itself. Like if you see, Ramana Maharshi had experienced his death. This yogi, if anybody has heard of him, it is very nice to just study that experience. He felt his own body burn. Or Sant Tukaram had beautifully said, Majhe marna pahle mya dora, kai varnu sora anupama. Said, I saw my death with my own eyes. What should I tell you about that great festival? He called it a great celebration and festival. So this aspect of the Atman, when it comes to some people actually realize it. Yes, this was the missing element which I had not understood. Now puzzle is complete. That is some awakened souls. They get that. Then there is the other who use their mind, who use their tarka, who use their understanding or some kind of anumana, some inference, and then they recognize, yes, so I recognize that I'm not alone in this world. There is a soul, there's a journey, it's taking place. Something is happening. I don't know fully, but there is something. So they are finding it surreal. They're understanding it to be surreal. Then others, they hear it. My guru said, my mother said, my father said, I trust it. I don't need to look twice. Once this authority has told me, I recognize it. This authority does not. That's a third type. And the fourth is it falls on 1 year, goes away, makes no difference in their life. So that is one more thing Mitaji shared. If anything else is there, otherwise we conclude with a Shanti mantra. So, all right, let's conclude with a Shanti mantra. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् नमस्कारम पुनर्मिलामः we see you tomorrow. Please feel free to use our group for discussions in light of the shlokas that we have covered, keeping in mind that we are not trying to engage in scholastic debates. Instead, we are trying to bring it into our everyday life. Yes, please. Hari Om. Namaskar.
Thank you,
Namaste.
sir.
Thank you, Ji.
Namaskar. Thank you
Namaste.
so much.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank
Namaskar.
Hari Om.